But Nolan has set a standard of GOAT status, right? Nolan is creme de la creme. For you to keep that title, it's tough at the top. All Might had to fight a gang of no-moves to stay number one for years, bro. But now, Nolan is All Might with the busted up rib, bro. I haven't seen passion from Disney since...
We're live.
Gracias por ver la esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody's Corner.
You know what people try to use the "what have you done for me lately" as a bad thing. When it comes to creativity, it's real. What have you done for me lately? You need to stay consistent and modern. You, as a director, filmmaker, writer, producer, you can stumble. You can make a project that's mid or trash.
But you learn from it.
You gotta bounce back.
Yeah.
You can't make multiple mid projects because now it's like your sauce. Look at Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan released Interstellar. That was his last great movie. I'm talking about great Nolan-esque movie.
Yeah.
Tenet came, Dunkirk came, Oppenheimer came, and while those are good movies, they're beneath the bar of Nolan. They're not excellent and great. They get praised, $1 billion, Oscar winning, but none of those movies can hold a candle to Nolan. You feel me? Memento, The Prestige, The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Inception. You know what I'm talking about. Nolan has been on downslide for a long time, and now Nolan with this Odyssey, with this cast of these characters switching up they shit, got people looking at Nolan like, bro, what have you done for me lately?
Or what are you on? You picking the black woman to pee.
If Nolan fumbles with the Odyssey, then Nolan has fallen down a peg for me. He ain't the GOAT no more.
So just that one move, it's like...
It's 3.
So
he's had 3
chances.
Mediocre movies in a row. And when I say mediocre, I'm talking about the status of Nolan. A mid-Nolan movie is greater than most other directors' good movies. But Nolan has set a standard of GOAT status, right? Nolan is creme de la creme. For you to keep that title, it's tough at the top. All Might had to fight a gang of no-moves to stay number one for years, bro. But now, Nolan is All Might with the busted up rib, bro.
Nolan can have, I told you on Wednesday, Nolan can have a freaking arrogance to himself to feel like, you know, whatever movie I make, they're going to love it regardless because it's my name. I put too much work into it. I put too much, my name alone is tier. So he might not have this passion. He might just be like, you know what, I'll just do it.
There is no passion when you cast an African to play Helena of Troy, a dark-skinned African woman. There is no passion there. And Disney is the kings and queens of no passion. I haven't seen passion from Disney since...
We're live. There should not be a LGBT character playing a man.
That's not true. I'm okay with an LGBT character playing a man because a lot of them Romans and them niggas was gay.
They were gay, but they were actually...
Achilles was probably gay as hell.
They were men, though.
Odysseus was probably gay. Them niggas was butt plugging each other.
They were men, though.
Yeah, man,
they wasn't women.
Miss me. A trans should not be playing a man. Someone who's a warrior versus someone who's 111 pounds. So here's what somebody said here. The production of Christopher Nolan received permission for 15 days of filming in Greece with a budget of 16 million euros. The Greek state gave them 6 million as a subsidy for the money of Greek taxpayers who were never informed about the cast of the film or the distortion of the most important work in our history. The issue here is not that they received money. We Greeks would gladly have given all 16 million for Nolan to shoot a faithful Odyssey, but it should have been a film that properly represents us Greeks, Hellenism, and stays true to the values and writings of Homer. not so we Greeks could pay for a black Helen and we'll try this. Clytemnestra, a Batman-like Agamemnon, and a trans Achilles or Elpenor, who's a woman playing a male role, a black Athena, and a script based on the worst possible translation that exists. In short, Nolan disrespected all Greeks, while the Greek people are now officially in the crosshairs of racism and the falsification of their history and culture. Woke Hollywood must die. This is a serious thing. Had you make a movie about Africans and slaves and you got light-skinned motherfuckers like Blake Griffin and you got motherfuckers looking like Brad Pitt and up in there and shit, we would have a problem with that, guys. Let's be honest. We would have a problem with that. Now, I don't think it's as far as people are doing. People are showing Black Panther as a white man. Black Panther's about Wakanda in Africa with black dark Africans. You put a white person, obviously that's a little bit too far. But there's a level of wiggle room that you could do. Am I mad at a Blake Griffin being a slave? No. He'll have to be in my story. He's the outlier. People see him as the white albino slave. They'll know him as the white one. He'll be a house nigga. He'll be in the house because, he had sex with Master's wife who was white. Boom, light skin, boom. You in the house. We get that. But what Nolan is doing with these with these women playing man roles, Achilles being played by a frail Achilles was supposed to be a warrior, a strong, great, amazing
best warriors too.
So it's like Helen of Troy is supposed to be a fair-skinned, blonde, beautiful white woman being played by Lupita. I love Lupita Nyong'o. I'm a fan of hers. I think she's beautiful. But not for this role. She's not being his role. And there has to be some level of accountability for these actors and actresses. For example, let's start with Ellen Page. Ellen Page is playing a warrior as well, right? Ellen Page is skinny as hell and frail and is a woman and doesn't look like she could be a warrior for anybody. She don't even look like she could walk around with the freaking the armor on. That armor probably weighs more than half of her mass. It doesn't work for me. People are coming and attacking her, and I don't really like that because it's really hard to be. I could assume that it's hard to be a trans because you're so unique and different, and people already don't like the idea of that in their movies, and I get that. But at the same time, I got to hold you accountable a little bit, Elliot. Why would you take a role like this of a masculine man warrior knowing that you're not about to get heat for that? That's like Warner Brothers coming to me and say, Jody, I want to cast you as Superman. I'm so grateful and blessed that you would even think of me. Thank you so much. This is a dream come true. But no.
Shout out to the death threats.
But no. Ain't no way. If I'm an actor, I'm not playing Superman. What? I'm fat, bald, black, and I'm not there. I'm not the right person to play Superman. And me, if I was an actor, I would turn that down because it's not right for the art. I don't care about my artistry. Some artistry should not even be attempted in certain art forms. Elliot Page should have known better before signing up with Nolan. Okay, I'll play your warrior man. You're asking for hate. Lupita Nyong'o playing a beautiful white woman. Bruh, Lupita, you got to take some accountability. You're asking for hate. You're asking for them to show you in that negative slave light from 12 Years a Slave. You're asking them to do the racial slurs. You're asking for them to call you out. And just like this article said here, this post said here, is that it should have been a film that properly represents us Greeks, Hellenism and all that. But in short, Nolan disrespected all the Greeks, while the Greek people are now officially in the crosshairs of racism. They are officially in the crosshairs of racism. What does that mean? Because they're calling Greeks racist for not liking the fact that an African woman is playing Helen of Troy. There is nothing racist about calling out an African actress who's dark-skinned and saying you should not play Helen because you're too black. You're black. Helen of Troy is not black. You are not racist if you say that. But the internet, the certain side of the internet, the left side of the internet is saying, oh, you Greeks are racist for calling her out. You're turning this into this big political thing when it shouldn't be. Nolan, you're turning into one of them freaking Disney agenda, DEI, mind virus, woke mob riot idiots, bro. What are you doing? You're supposed to be a guy that puts cinema first, story and characters and the score and the perplexity of it all, and wrapping it up into a ball that makes us visually and stimulates our brains and makes us tense in the seat. That feeling that you get. I haven't felt that feeling since Interstellar. I didn't feel that Nolan feeling when I watched all of Oppenheimer. I haven't felt that Nolan tingly feeling since in all of Tenet. I didn't feel it in Dunkirk. The last time I felt it was Interstellar. I still watch the clips to this day and I could tingle because of the masterful magic that you do behind that camera, bro. I haven't felt you, no homo, in a dozen years, bro. We're in 2026, dog. Interstellar came out in 2014. I ain't really felt you like I used to feel you in a dozen years, bruh. What the hell are you doing?
It's about the money, bro. Nolan is really about
Nolan
the money.
don't need money.
It's about the money. Why would he do this? Why would he
Why
would he do this to tank his career?
Here's what people are saying. They're saying that Christopher Nolan cast a diverse cast simply to be able to get the Oscar awards, because the Oscars say you need to have a certain amount of DEI, black people, Asians, trans, LGBT. You have to have that in order to even get an Oscar. So they're saying that Nolan is doing that in order to be qualified to win Oscars.
You got a trans woman playing a man, and you got a black woman playing a white woman. That was just like bad business, bro. You could have other characters in this bitch.
Please don't confuse what I'm saying, guys. I liked Oppenheimer. I liked Dunkirk. I liked Tenet. I didn't love them like I love all those other Christopher Nolan masterpieces of movies. Oppenheimer's not a masterpiece. Tenet is not a masterpiece. Dunkirk, for sure, ain't no masterpiece. He made a war movie with no war in it. No soldier on soldier combat, bro. It's just something that he wanted to make that didn't really hit that level of Nolan-esque.
Him doing this is a creative destruction right here. This is destruction, bro. He don't care. He should know he's not getting no Oscar for this shit. None. This woman playing a man too? Nah.
What's that mean to you?
What it means to me, this world is fucking about to crash into the earth is finna crash into the sun. That's what it means to me. What the fuck? This was the bad idea on Nolan's part to even do this. I know, like, prime example, when we saw Christian Bale playing the Batman, oh fuck, you about to be Batman? Kind of find out it was a good idea. But playing a tranny, playing a man, the problem would be more, it would have been better if a man was playing this and you had a tranny in the movie. That would have been made like another person, but not the biggest warrior of all. Like, come on, man. That's just not smart. You have a woman, Shimmer, playing the most strongest warrior. Hell no. Then you have a black woman playing a beautiful white woman. That's like a white person. That's like a black person having Storm be white. We have Storm white and black people not go trip.
It's not that aggressive.
Make motherfuckers be hot.
Yeah, I understand
about that. So
Hollywood is not even trying to hide it anymore. These out of touch celebrities and influencers are all going in on the demonic propaganda.